Honestly, man, there were no words that I have for this game. I have a very exciting game review to deliver to you guys. And honestly, man, if you couldn't tell from the thumbnail, the game I'm going to be reviewing is absolutely a masterpiece. And I feel that even that is a complete understatement. But before we get into that, I want you guys to like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and also be sure to hit the bell notification so you'll be notified to see more of me, hear more of my thoughts and opinions and other shit like that. And also be sure to follow me on Spotify. Follow the podcast, man, because seriously, like, there's a lot of people that are listening to the podcast, but are not following the podcast. I mean, how the fuck can y'all do that? Listen to us, but not follow. I mean, what kind of janky shit is that, huh? But for real though, for real though, I would be happy if you guys follow the podcast, a P Thing Podcast on Spotify, or just follow us on other platforms and shit. But preferably on on Spotify. Because honestly, man, it's like I was looking at the numbers and I noticed how discouragingly low the numbers are, man. I mean, that's rather upsetting, you know? Also, I've uploaded onto Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, like all over social media with a deal for you guys. If we can hit 300 subscribers by New Year's Eve, I will shave all of this off completely. I'm not going to shorten it. I'm just going to completely get it shaved. All of it. I mean, I don't really like the idea because I'm attached to all this hair and everything, you know? I mean, but at the same time, it's like this shit is getting unbearably long. But yeah, I might even do a video like recording me getting my hair cut or something. I don't know. I don't really know. But again, if we hit 300 by New Year's Eve or more, I will shave all of this off completely. I'll fucking get a complete bald headed shave, you know. But if we don't do 300, if the subscribers ain't at 300 by New Year's Eve, the deal's off, and I'm keeping all this lovely hair with me. Fucking smells like coconut. That's probably an unnecessary detail. But yeah, 300 subscribers by New Year's. Let's get them follows up on Spotify for the A P Thing Podcast, man. The numbers need to be going up. Otherwise, I mean, there'd be no point in doing the podcast, even though I will continue recording anyways because I love the podcast. You know, it's really fun. But for real, let's get them numbers up, baby. But anyways, enough of that bullshit. Let's get it cracking. The game I'm gonna be reviewing will be for The Last of Us and The Last of Us 2. Actually, no, I'm gonna do The Last of Us at a later date because I don't remember anything from the first one. Plus, I feel like there'd be no point in reviewing the first one because everyone's fucking played it, and I'm sure everyone's played the second one and all that. But I'm doing this review anyways because fuck you, it's my choice. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. That's not nice. That's completely disrespectful to you guys. But for real though, I just got done playing Last of Us 2 yesterday, and it's like, by the time that this video comes out, it's gonna be like fucking a month or so away, because it's like 31st of July right now. So by the time you guys see this video, I'll probably be recording some other shit, you know? I'll probably still be playing Red Dead Redemption 2, which I won't be doing a review for, but I've been wanting to play it lately. Anyways, I'm fucking getting sidetracked as always. Fucking name should be Sidetrack Cody. Anyways, Last of Us 2, man. For those who don't know, who haven't played it, The Last of Us is basically a post-apocalyptic game, which was later turned into a TV show. There's a girl who ends up sharing with I wouldn't say surrogate father, but I guess in a way you can say. He found out that she is the cure and the solution to restoring humanity, because the world is completely festered and completely filled with like flower-faced people, aka clickers. So they end up going cross country to get her to a hospital, a specific hospital. That way she can be cured. But over the time and throughout the travels and the continuous problems that they face together, he ends up growing attached to her. Unintentionally. Like, at first, in the beginning of the game, of the first one, he did not even intend to have any connection with her. Just wanted to get her cross country, send her to the hospital, go back to doing his own shit. Who the fuck is this? Why am I getting a text now? In the middle of a fucking recording. Fuck you. So, because of that connection that Joel and Ellie build together, he ends up caring for Ellie as somewhat like his daughter, despite the fact that he lost his daughter in the beginning of the first one. Which, again, a lot of this information probably isn't necessary because it was explained in the first game and in the TV show that just came out recently. Also, I did a review for it. It was amazing. Really fun to do. But in the sequel, there is a big issue that a lot of people were spoiling. You know, but at the same time, I mean, it was kind of guessed that the main character, I'm not going to say who, was going to have to die. So sadly, that was spoiled for me. I was pissed off at it. I was not happy, not one bit. I didn't find out how until I eventually played the game. Jesus Christ, it was terrible. Absolutely horrible. I did not like it. I did not like the way that it was done. But at the same time, it really hurt watching the whole thing. You know, someone that you completely grew attached in the first game, and you end up looking at this person as your favorite character, and then when you see that character robbed from you, I don't know why the fuck my voice did that from sore throat. You end up watching this character get completely tormented, beaten to death, and killed. It absolutely sucked. I did not like it. But the storyline, it got all the more intensive. All the more intense, and you really build this, like, revenge kind of story. You know, so it's like, throughout the whole storyline, you are getting revenge. You are targeting anyone and everyone that gets in your way. Fireflies, wolves, everyone completely wiped off the earth. Killed in your path. And at the same time, you are teamed up with your girlfriend who turns out to be pregnant. I don't know why I keep saying you, your, they, them. I'm just gonna fucking say it. Ellie is getting revenge for the death of Joel. I'm probably gonna put in the video title that this is gonna be a spoiler. Joel gets beaten to death. Ellie gets revenge. And so you're going cross country, getting revenge, killing anyone and everyone in your way. Because you want to find out who did this and how you can make them suffer. And so by doing so, you're killing everyone connected to that person. This whole storyline was amazing. And the way that it goes back and forth with Ellie going cross country, getting revenge, to watching little backstories and like little moments that you didn't get to see. It's like little flashbacks of little trips that Joel and Ellie went on together. All the way from her visiting the Museum of Dinosaurs and Astronauts in Space, to venturing around with Tommy, to the hospital scene that happened in the first one, and then back into like the way that this whole story was done. It was amazing. Like the present of getting revenge, looking back at the past, Ellie's playing guitar and reminiscing every bit of her time with Tommy and Joel. And they keep hinting at an argument that Joel and Ellie had together before he was brutally beaten to death with a fucking golf club. So, because of that, it really makes the story all the more painful to watch, because the connection that they had was completely splintering because of a argument that they had. And by the time that you were in the middle of the story, just before Abby finds out where you are, the story completely severed, or their friendship completely severed after Ellie found out what Joel did. And it really fucked her up incredibly. It absolutely made her hate him with every ounce of her heart, and it made it all the more painful to watch, especially since he robbed her of something that could have been so much more greater, so much more meaningful. And during some of those cutscenes and playing in those cutscenes, it really gave me some thoughts of like trying to understand both situations and what would you do in that situation, Like, would you rather sacrifice the person you love to save humanity, or not save humanity and completely leave it with no future, no human race to continue because of your selfish needs? And that was a very problematic argument, and at the same time a very choked up, emotional moment. And again, it really puts the thought of whether what Joel did was right, to completely kill every doctor involved that could have saved humanity, or sacrificed Ellie. It's like it was a really tough moment in the storyline. So it's like her travel all around to get revenge, and all completely built up, and they friendship between Joel and Ellie just kept splintering and becoming more and more painful to watch and to play through. And by the time that you are halfway through the story, Ellie's part ends with Abby completely beating the shit out of Tommy and pointing a gun at Ellie's face. And then, brilliantly, you get to play as Abby for a huge chunk of the story. And honestly, I love that, you know? It's like, it really gives you a point of view on both sides. With this idea of thinking that Abby's a villain, she's the one that killed Joel, Abby must die. And then you end up building an understanding and a connection and a bond with Abby's character and an understanding into what she's been through, knowing that her father was one of the doctors that was going to operate and kill Ellie to save humanity. And Abby is just continuously growing up, but still not letting go of the revenge that was building up for so long. And not only that, her group, the Wolves, are also dealing with a war between a group of people called the Scars, or Seraphites as they're called. And you end up getting saved by two siblings who are both called the Scars or Seraphites. I'm just going to call him Lev and Yara because that's the names that they were given in the storyline. Abby did not care at first. She was grateful that she was saved by them, but at the same time she did not give a shit. And through the connection that they both had together, like escaping and then her guilty conscience of what she did to Joel and having a nightmare of both of them being hung and killed, it really made her feel terrible to a point of going back to them after bringing them somewhere safe and saving them and helping Yara get to a hospital just to get her arm fixed because she was completely tormented and had her arms battered with a hammer. So that whole incident, it really fucked up Abby to a point of wanting to repay her by bringing her to a hospital. You end up realizing that her arm is completely fucked up. You need to go all the way into a different city or some shit with her brother to get medicine. You build a connection with the brother Lev, and you end up building trust with Lev, and she looks at him as a friend. That connection continues to grow between Abby and Lev as well as with Yara. Problem is, with Lev and Yara, Abby's ex-boyfriend, I think his name was Owen, he completely did not understand. He was going to just be okay with it because it's with Abby. He still has some feelings for Abby, but he did not understand it at first. He did eventually accept it because he knew that they're just kids, they need help, and Yara was going to lose her arm. So they put aside their petty little Scar versus Wolf war to help each other. But the problem is, there are other people that do not see the same point of view as Abby and Owen and Lev and Yara. Because their leader, Isaac, who was played by one of my personal favorite actors, I think his name was Jeffrey Dwight, something like that. Fucking guy from Batman and Westworld. I don't remember his name. I think it was Jeffrey Dwight or some shit like that. Or Wright. I can't remember. I'm completely stuck on that name now. His character Isaac does not understand Abby, and he's willing to completely go to war with every one of the Scars, aka Seraphites, and completely wipe them out, killing every single one. There's no absolute reason why as to why there's a war. I guess there was like little hints about a truce that was severed or some shit. I don't really remember much. It was a while ago. But Isaac was not going to let it go. So the war continued. Dwight ends up killing Yara. Lev and Abby are completely dealing with a war to completely wipe out anyone and everyone involved. Whether they are war or whether they are Scars or Wolves, Abby and Lev are both teaming up even after everything that they just witnessed right in front of them. And they're completely killing anyone and everyone. All just to get off the island and go back to the aquarium to Owen. But the problem is, she will end up finding Owen's pregnant girlfriend, Abby's ex-boyfriend, Owen and Nora, both killed that you did with Ellie. Abby sees it. Abby ends up finding the hideout that Ellie and Dina is hiding in. And she's planning revenge. She's gonna fucking kill anyone and everyone in her way as well. So you're stuck fighting Ellie with Abby, and the role is completely changed up. It's like Ellie becomes more terrifying because you're being chased by her. So you're completely being chased by Ellie, and you gotta beat the fuck out of Ellie and fight against her. And then by the end of the story, you end up playing as Ellie again to go back after Abby. It's like the way that the whole storyline is done, like bouncing back and forth. It's like you are building a connection with both characters throughout both of their situations. Abby lost her father and her friend right in front of her. Ellie lost Joel, who was basically like a surrogate father to her. And then she wants to get revenge for Tommy that Abby shot in the fucking head. It's like the stories are all separated but then combined a few times, and it was amazing. And just when you are finally about to get revenge, just when you are finally beating Abby senselessly in the water, drowning her, and then letting her live after remembering Joel one last time, it really made it all the more like personal and intimate and emotional. Because like Abby, she was so like corrupted and possessed with hatred and rage and wanting to just kill anyone and everyone just to get justice for Joel. She completely remembers the beating and his bludgeoned face throughout the whole storyline. All the way up until you are drowning Abby, and she remembers the last conversation that Ellie and Joel had together. that she won't be able to forgive them. Forgive Joel for what he did, for robbing her the choice of sacrificing herself. But she's willing to try to forgive Joel. And so she ends up repeating the same thing, that same idea with Abby. She doesn't want to forgive Abby for killing Joel, but she will try very hard to forgive her by giving both Abby and Lev the choice to leave and never return. And there's some other parts in the story that I don't want to get into, but the way that the story ends, Dina basically runs off with the baby. Ellie wants to find Dina and go back to Jackson. So after everything that both Abby has been through, after everything that Ellie has been through, the way that the storylines were done for both of them, and then combining both storylines. So honestly, the way that the storylines were done for both Ellie and Abby, it was completely brilliant. I loved every bit of it. And like, here's the thing, I'm a sucker for details, you know, and for beautiful, gorgeous graphics. You know, it's like the way that everything looks, especially for snowy areas. I absolutely love snowy sections of video games and shit. It's like, I absolutely adore them. And like, there was so much gorgeous views, even with the sunken city. Like, it was amazing to look at. And again, I'm a sucker for beautiful graphics and details, so I kept gawking at every little thing here, like, oh shit, the fucking snow on the branches fall off when you bump into them. Oh shit, look at the footprints in the snow. You know, so it's like, I continue gawking at every little thing like that. But, the way that the combat was done, it was so interesting. It's like, it's the same as the first one, but with Abby you get a crossbow, and with Ellie you just get a standard bow. So it's like both characters have their little pros and cons. Like, you fucking have Abby who's using like a one-shot pistol and fucking a flame torch, and with Ellie you just fucking have a rifle and a bow and a few pistols. So it's like both characters have their pros and cons and all that, you know. I love the way that the fighting is done with both of them equally. It's both really great, and honestly, it was really fun playing with them both. I mean, it did take like a few minutes to get used to like the character changes and combats and all that. It's like with Ellie you fucking get Molotovs, but with Abby you get pipe bombs. And I don't know, it's like both were completely weird to get used to at first, but it was really fun regardless to play with them both. And to the voice actors and actresses in the game, they did astonishing, amazing, wondrous job. You know, it's like, I absolutely love the storyline. You know, and much love and props to Troy Baker for delivering the best and most, like, the best character in the video games of Last of Us and Last of Us 2. They were very hard to say goodbye to, because I think Troy Baker really delivered his absolute best with this, even in his last moments. Like, Joel went out the way that Joel decided. He fucking went out like a man, running his mouth all the way until he got beaten. But with everything that was going on, the storyline was absolutely perfection from beginning to end. The fighting was really fun to do, took some getting used to, and again, the graphics were gorgeous to look at. Every bit of the cities, every like little things, you know, it's like everything about the game was just fucking perfection from beginning to end. The storyline was great. The soundtrack, I love the soundtrack that they had. The graphics were beautiful to look at from the very first scene to the very last scene. The combat was really fun. And the characters that you played with, I'm fucking pissed that Jesse had to go so soon. But it's like at the same time, you do develop a bond with Jesse and an understanding with everything. And it was really fun to like learn how to play guitar with Ellie, you know, it's like it was really fun to do. You know, especially like when you're touching like parts of the touchpad to like interact with certain strings or with all strings when you just rub the whole touchpad, and that whole section was fun. You know, the little practices that you do was really fun to do. I actually like doing it. You know, it's like there were moments where I'm just like messing with the guitar and like creating a little tune of my own and shit. And the museums were beautiful to look at. The T-Rex was badass. The fucking Megalodon jaws that you get to look at with Abby was amazingly cool looking. It's like there were so many sections and so many details and locations. Like the whole looks of everything was astonishing. Very mind-blowing to look at. And the buildings that you are looking at from Abby's point of view and with Ellie's point of view, I completely was in awe with it, you know, because it really gave a perspective of just how little you are compared to giant ass buildings that you're scaling up and climbing and entering. And it's like there's a section in the game with Abby and Lev where you're completely climbing up this high ass hospital just to fucking get medicine, and you are so high up above the building. I think he said that you are like 20 something floors up, maybe more, and you are so high that all you see is the clouds and straight, and you can't even see the floor. That shit had me so uncomfortable, but at the same time so amazed by it. And it really made like Abby's vertigo so like interesting to view, because when you're looking straight, Abby's not affected, but when you're looking down to the floor or something, or from anywhere high with Abby, it's like her vertigo completely kicks in with her shaking and rubbing her hands and like the camera just wobbling a bit, you know. It's like that little detail, it was really cool and really fascinating with how they really made her vertigo seem. I mean, it probably would have been better to fucking watch it in third person. But honestly, man, The Last of Us and The Last of Us 2 are without a doubt my like top 3 favorite games ever. You know, it's probably number 2. You know, so it's like it would be the God of War series, including the new ones and the old ones, Last of Us 1 and 2, and then Ghost of Tsushima as 3. Those are my top 3 games, but Last of Us and Last of Us 2 as a whole, they were just fucking amazing. I loved every bit of it. The storyline was the best storyline I've ever played. I enjoyed every minute, every second, every hour playing that shit. Best game ever. Best storyline and most very like emotional of a roller coaster of a game. Everything about the Last of Us games have always been amazing to play through. And I remember when I played the first one a few years back. I think it was like 2015, 2016, like somewhere around that time. When I first played the very first Last of Us game, like a little bit after it was like talked about and it was available and blowing up all over, I was so interested in playing it, but at the same time I was kind of skeptical because I wasn't sure if it was going to be very fun to play with, especially since I already just got done playing Max Payne. So it's like my opinions and, or not my opinions, my expectations was somewhat low because I was not used to apocalyptic type games other than Dead Rising. But by the time that I played it and the story was building up, I was enjoying it more and more and more. And then by the time that The Last of Us 2 was announced, like a few years ago, like 2020 something, 2018 I believe it was, when that game was announced, I was in love with The Last of Us game. But at the same time, I did not like it because the trailer really hinted at stuff that I did not want. So the entire game had to be delayed because, one, I didn't have the PS4. But when we did, like, we had a bunch of other games, like, already available at the time. So we really took a long time with The Last of Us and with a bunch of other games that we were bringing into first. So after so long of waiting for The Last of Us 2 to come out, I finally got to play it. Expectations exceeded above all expectations. It was the greatest game I've ever played. The greatest storyline I've ever took a journey with. I loved every bit of it. I loved every second of the story. The characters, the storyline, the combat, the graphics, the soundtrack. Every bit of this game was above perfection for me. I did not want to see it end, but at the same time, I was ready to just finally finish the storyline. Like, there were days when I was so fucking tired, but I did not want to go to sleep because I was so anxious to just hop back onto the game. Like, I completely did not sleep at all because I really wanted to play the game so much. Because I was enjoying everything that was happening. And I was loving the storyline that was going on. So, honestly, man, I'm just gonna get right to the rating of the game. What I would give Last of Us, compared to what other people would say, like, I don't know what Game Informer or Metacritic gave the game, but if I could, I'd fucking go above 10 out of 10. I'd fucking give it a 20 out of 10 or some shit, you know? Completely go above the normal rating because I was absolutely in love with it. It was an emotional journey in the game. It was a chaotic storyline, and the characters were enjoyable. Both Ellie was super fun to play with again, and Abby, it really took you on a journey of what she's been through, what you deal with playing with Ellie or with Abby, and building a bond, and really like sympathizing and humanizing Abby as a person who's just been through so much as well. It's like you develop a bond and you actually begin to like Abby, you know? Because it really gave Abby like a point of view that she is just another thinking, feeling, talking human being, you know? She is just like Ellie. They both been through so much. And you really do not want to see either of them go. You want to get revenge for Joel, but at the same time, you want to get revenge on for Abby's father and for Owen and for everyone that Ellie took. You know, I mean, you even fucking killed a dog, like Abby's dog, out of self-defense. And so it's like the game, it really humanizes someone that you thought was just a villain. But really, you gave that villain, like, very lovable traits as a person. And there was a thought in my head playing with Abby during the whole Wolves versus Scars versus Ellie. Is like, there was a line that clicked in my head. It was something that Eren Yeager said in like the first half of Attack on Titan. Whether you are behind the walls or across the sea, whether you are a wolf or a seraphite, a firefly, or whatever you are, at the end of it, you're all the same. And that line clicked. Like, I really understood what he meant. Behind the walls, across the ocean, no matter what group you're in, at the end of the day, you're all the same. We are all the same. And the storyline, it was the greatest storyline I've ever played. Absolutely perfection, man. I did not want to see it end. I wanted to keep the game so much, but I had to ship it back to Gamefly because Arkham Knight was going to be coming in soon. And, I think I'm getting sick. Arkham Knights was going to be coming in soon, and I already just did get done downloading Red Dead Redemption 2 because that was another game that I've been waiting for a fucking long time. And I've been wanting to get into it lately. But honestly, man, The Last of Us 2, greatest game I've played in a long time. And I know I said that a bunch of times for Ragnarok or Ghost of Tsushima, but honestly, none of them can really touch what The Last of Us brought to the table. None of them can touch, not even the Spider-Man or Miles Morales games, none of them can touch what The Last of Us 2 has delivered onto a silver platter, onto a gold platter. It was a fucking platinum game, in my opinion. And honestly, I'm excited for number 3. I'm excited for what Naughty Dog has in stores for The Last of Us 3, where everything is going to lead with Ellie, with Dina, with Abby, or with Lev. I don't even know if you're going to be running into those two again. I really hope that you do, because, again, I really did build a bond with Abby and Lev in the storyline. But honestly, man, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let me know if you played this game, what you think of the Last of Us series, and, you know, let me know all that stuff in the comments, you know. I would love to hear your guys' opinions on The Last of Us 2 and the storyline and everything, because honestly, it was by far the greatest game I've ever played in a long time. And for when there's a number 3 coming out, I'm excited. And Naughty Dog, I would be happy to play it. I would be happy to put it on this channel. Hell, I'll be happy to do a review for it, you know? The Last of Us games have always had a very special place in my heart as the best games ever. So, to Troy Baker, to the voice actors in all the Last of Us games, you all did a lovely, amazing, astonishing, phenomenal job. The Last of Us games have been phenomenal from beginning to end. I loved every bit of it, and I look forward to the third Last of Us in the future. Other than that, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.